My name is Jim Luken. Today I'm kicking off a playlist of videos, all of them focused on a book I recently wrote titled Coastal South Carolina, Fish and Game, History, Culture, and Conservation. The book is my attempt to tell the story of how we came to have such a tremendous system of wildlife refuges, state parks, wildlife management areas, and other protected areas at the coast of South Carolina. This story is a long one. It begins with the Native Americans, includes the colonists, early settlers, plantation owners and the slaves that lived on these plantations, market hunters, commercial fishermen, and sportsmen. All of these groups early on in the history of South Carolina tended to view fish and wildlife as essentially limitless. This type of thinking eventually caused problems, primarily in the form of population crashes and in some cases extinctions of fish and game populations. What we see over and over again in the history of fish and game in coastal South Carolina is that at about 1900, many populations were decimated. And at the same time, we also see the birth of the conservation movement in the United States and in coastal South Carolina. And so what we begin to see happening at about that point in time are new regulations to protect fish and game, the deployment of a warden force to enforce those regulations, and also the beginning of the designations of fish and wildlife refuges. Fish and game protection with wardens did not come easily in coastal South Carolina. And indeed, while I was writing this book, I jotted down some interesting little events that I think will give you some insight into just how difficult it was to get these protections in place. So we'll be covering some of these issues in these videos. We'll also be taking the camera out into the field and looking at some of the wildlife refuges and the places that are covered in the book. I hope you gained some new insights into fish and game protection in coastal South Carolina as a result of reading the book and looking at these videos. I hope you enjoy them, and thank you for watching.